Sabiyah, what the hell? I thought we were talking in December.
I know.
Oh, well,
I
how are
thought
you?
we were too.
Well, how are you doing right now? Feeling like your game is as cooked as that candle was.
I know it, and it was barbecued, right? I I feel great. I mean the reaction, I was anticipating the reaction because of course, like we filmed so much earlier in the year, so we're just kind of like, okay, well that happened. Here we go. And the reaction from the cast, when we're all talking, it's just like that's gonna be a moment. People are going to remember that. It's gonna be the origin story, to whatever else comes for me. And I'm so happy with the how they portrayed everything and all of the suspense. Like I don't know how you felt, but I even knowing what was gonna happen, my heart is like, ah, I'm freaking out. So I could only imagine how it was to watch that episode start to finish. As a fan, I loved it. They did a great job.
Well, let's start turning up the temperature a bit on your game here. Now, I got to start with your last and arguably most important decision that you made in the game. I'm so keen. How long did you spend in that booth mulling over the decision for you to ultimately sacrifice your vote to make your idol more powerful? How much longer was it than the time the candle spent in the fire at the end of the day?
It was longer than they showed, but it
Mm,
it definitely was not long enough. Okay, so walk with me. You know what I mean?
of course.
We spent days finding this idol. We spent days trying to figure out how we're gonna even get it. There's no help. There's no fire. We spent time trying to make fire. It wasn't, shown as much outside of Brandon with his glasses, but we only had two members with glasses, and they both left first. So by the time I get to the booth, I'm expecting it to just say safe or not safe.
Mhm.
I'm not expecting it to be like it's gonna grow with the power and everything like that. And at that time, of course, I'm power hungry. Of course, we're anticipating a swamp. Like because we're going down to three. It's only happened a couple of times, and almost every time the next morning there's a drop your buffs moment. I'm a fan, so me and Sean, we're anticipating swap. All right, so if I swap and I'm alone, I don't know how the other teams perceive me. I don't know. I know that they've been seeing me put out in challenges. I know that they
Mhm.
know that I'm a good social person, just based off of just mild interactions. So I could have been a target as soon as I switch. If I'm the only one, I'm in trouble. I'm on the bottom. But that would be great to have an idol, some security. You know what I'm saying? So having to think about all of that in the booth, fortunately for Austin and them, they found it at camp. They had time to sit. They're
Yeah.
not having tribal every night to think about I might actually have to use this. So it was the perfect storm for the worst decision ever. Mix that with sleep deprivation, mix that from being beat to shit by the challenges. I mean, you're not thinking. I just roasted an idol on national TV. I'm hoping that I don't need to use it tonight. I'm hoping that I've done enough work with Caleb to make him feel like he's safe and he votes Emily. That's what I'm hoping. Even if Caleb votes Emily, that's a three-way, thing. And then I have an idol. So what happens? You know what I'm saying? So I it took so long. It took so long in my mind, but all factors and everything, the information that I had at the time, whether it be phony or not, I made the best decision for my game going forward. Maybe not at the at the right now, and I know the next time I play, I'm gonna play like this is all I got. But you can't be like that. You kind of have to think forward and back the whole time, forward and back. So yeah, I spent a little bit too much time in the future with that one.
Well, you
Definitely.
you talk about Caleb, and Emily does paint you two in a corner from the very first tribal council as this pair. And maybe we as fans had that image in our head as well, because I'm not the only one that was quite surprised in last night's episode when all of a sudden
Right.
you say, okay, Caleb, go talk to the rest of the tribe. Oh, Caleb's a great social player. We've got to get rid of him. Talk to me about how
Right.
that turn ended up coming about and what was your relationship truly like on the island?
Okay, so me and Caleb are like the same person. We talk
Mm,
about it all the time. Me and Caleb are very close right now. We're both Virgos. We're both around the same age. It's literally like having a yin and yang version of each other. So you can only imagine being in that type of situation, how apparent that is. Emily was not wrong. He was like meeting my long lost brother out there. It was
mm,
crazy. So the more I start to think about that, the more I start to realize Emily's not the only one that sees it. She's just the only one bold enough to say something. And
mm,
again, us knowing that we're going down to three, anticipating a swap, which inevitably happened, how does that go for me? Am I his number three once he gets with people at Reba? Because he had just came back from Reba. And Caleb was a big Austin fan. They didn't play him talking about him, but he talked about him all the time. He was like, "Yeah, man, the guy on the red with the Asian guy on the red. I feel like we would really work." And we're like, "Okay, we don't really know him like that, but that's cool." You know what I mean? But it happened a lot of times. So him going to the Reba tribe, him petitioning for himself to go after all of that, we're
mm,
like, hmm. Then him coming back saying he had talked to every single person on the tribe. Just, hey, I want to talk to each of you all individually. Who does that? Who gets that in Survivor? No one. So my radar starts to go up about him being so social, so social. Like, I'm social. Don't get me wrong. I can make just about anybody laugh, sell water to a whale. But Caleb is a different type of everything. And you see me describing him, like the
mm,
smile and the hair and the bounce to him. I love him genuinely. I had just met him and I literally would die for him. So if I feel like that, it's kind of like the reverse how I felt about myself. It's like, okay, people are going to perceive me as a strong female. They would be right. People are going to perceive me as a strategic player. They would be right. Balls to the wall. So Caleb, if I'm thinking of him as an endearment person, somebody that I could get along with, somebody that has my back to the end, after 6 days, he had to go. And
mm,
getting a big threat out before a tribe swap is a good strategy. It's
mm,
not something that, oh, she did it too quick. It's like, I hear you. However, if you are sitting in my seat, you think you have Emily, you have Sean, and Caleb is who you're taking with you. The shield, I don't really like the shield thing. You know what I mean? Like, I trust my
mm.
game to play my game, but I don't like taking people along past, a certain point. It just wouldn't have made sense for us to get to that tribe swap and give him opportunity to open up those other relationships that he had already started, brewing.
Gotcha.
So that's really the mind, behind the mind, that behind the decisions. It started to not add up for me. And Sean agreed with me. We had multiple morning talks. Like,
Mm,
what do you think? We're sitting on the beach. We get up before everybody else. What do you think? And he's like, I feel like he's starting to feel himself. I feel like you can feel the momentum behind someone when they really feel like they're in the game. You know what I mean? Like when they're
mm.
playing, it's like a vibration off of them. And Caleb started to feel more and more, bouncy. And I'm like, what is he doing? Because we're not seeing him talk to Emily.
Right. Yeah, talk
You
to me
know,
about that. Yeah, because obviously, I would imagine like the real last straw here came with you probably underestimating this dynamic duo of Caleb and Emily. We see them talking several times, but was that not noticeable out on the island?
well, and Caleb is so good. I tip my hat seriously to him because the way that he would paint it, he would be like, with me, he'd be like, "Oh, well, yeah, Sabiyah, we we can't make it too obvious that she's going home. And I'm like,
Mm,
Drew, yeah, you're right. He's like, let me go talk to her. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, right? You know?
mm,
And it's like, of course, I'm eating that up. I'm eating it up. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go get these papayas, or all right, I'm just gonna go because me and Sean, we're doing stuff too. You saw them on the trail, grabbing coconuts or going to the water well or whatever it was. Me and Sean, we're cleaning dishes or finding more papayas or chopping fruit or whatever we're doing. But we're down to four, so camp life is camp life. You have
mm.
stuff that you have to do. You can't be everywhere at once. That's where the spy shacks and stuff come in because you can't be everywhere at once.
Uh-huh.
So honestly, had I had known, there's a lot of, oh, why would you turn on Caleb? Had already slipped on me. He was already conspiring and playing that middle seat since really we got back from tribal after the Hannah situation, you know?
Mm,
So he was thinking way ahead of me. Like I literally had just started thinking that he might be against me when it was too late. And even up until, getting voted out, you see him like big smile, like, ah, and literally that's why I feel like leaving. I'm just like, okay, this is my team. I love them. Genuinely, Caleb, Emily, we are friends. I love that girl. Sean, of course, he's my ride or die. But it's just like those little nuances that you just have to pick up on. And if you don't, it'll be too late.
Yeah, so I want to obviously talk more about Emily because what a relationship going from,
Yeah.
you being one Hannah quit away from voting her out in episode 1 as she's calling out you and Caleb to then you
Mm.
brokering some trust and then arguments being had to finally culminating and her being the reason why you're talking with me today.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you were able to navigate that relationship where it felt like you were consistently at odds yet on the same page.
You know what? And that's a Maya Angelou quote. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. You know?
Mm,
And I live by that. But out there, you can't live by that because what if they made a mistake? What if they were just hangry? What if they need you? You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I thought Emily needed us,
mm,
you know, but she didn't. She had a great, comfy seat in the swing, just like Caleb. And that's honestly, I mean, we've seen season after season after season. That's the best seat is the swing vote. The best seat. You're the one who really runs it, while everybody that thinks they're running it, is really unbeknownst. So, um, our relationship was a lot of Caleb induced conversation. Didn't
mm,
know. You know what I mean? Like, didn't know. And again, great player. Caleb, amazing. But didn't know that that was what really was the fuel underneath her having that pivot because we did. And you see Sean mention it at tribal council why she didn't go home on the Brandon vote. And I needed Brandon to stay. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? But at the same time, it's like I also have this enemy in Emily, So it's like, do I play ball with the team, keep Emily, go Brandon, or do I keep somebody that I know is going to be tried and true with me to the end, like Brandon, and just risk losing, which we did anyway, you know? So our relationship it was really up and down. She took a lot of shots at me, but my heart and my forgiveness is always what I lead with. And it might not be the best, thing in Survivor to give people so many chances. Sometimes you just gotta stick the dagger out, and just move on and just hope that you guys can laugh about it later, like we do now about me. And uh I love both of them, Caleb, Emily. They had a great moment. They made a great decision with getting me out. Cause honestly, if I make it to a swap, it's game over. Like
Mm.
that was how I felt. Like if I make it to the swap with my idol, I trusted myself to get to the end. So I don't feel like their decision was wrong. I feel like it was definitely best for their games. I just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah, how do you look back on your week in Fiji to finish things off? Because I could imagine on one hand you leave with some unfulfillment of like, I only spent a week here. Like you said, I just had to make it one more day and then the rest was golden. On the other hand, the amount that you were able to accomplish, getting in that leadership position of, albeit, a very struggling tribe, but getting to find an idol, getting to enact some power plays is still a lot of commendations. So how do you look back upon, the short yet very fulfilled time you got to spend in Fiji?
It was amazing. Now, and I'm literally I'm taking breaths because I don't want to cry,
Mm,
but that was the best thing I've done. Period. Like the it's just as cool as it looks. It's just as amazing to meet Jeff for the first time. Like Brandon's emotions on the barge, that is a real moment. He's wanted to be there since he was 11 years old. Like it's and you feel that the whole way that you're making something that is literally unspeakably one of a kind. Like there will never be another season 45. There will never be that water that's coming up on that shore when you're out there. It's
mm.
going back and it's never coming back. It's one of a kind. So I am so content with just having the opportunity to be a part of this amazing family. Everybody has been so great and gracious and reached out and just really wrap their arms around all of us, and it's really beautiful. I love all of them. I love Survivor. I'd play 50 times if they let me. It really is the best show on TV.
Well, you talk about one of a kind experience. You gave us one. Certainly, you're a one of a kind, Sabaya. And regardless of whether we're talking in October or December, I always relish the opportunity we get to talk. You provided so much in 3 episodes. And the fact that you walk out of this with that sense of contentment is so felt, I think, by us. And I think the fandom as well supporting you hopefully allows you to feel that contentment as well. So thanks as always for talking with me. I absolutely adore you, Sabaya. And so I
Oh, I
enjoy any
love you
excuse that
too.
we get to talk Survivor.
Definitely. And I spoke to you about this and how like you just make everybody feel so comfortable. This is definitely your calling.
Mm,
And I really, really love our conversations and everything like that. And I hope to see you sometime very soon.
absolutely. Yes, the feeling is mutual. Well, all the best to you and yours. Thanks so much again, Sabaya, and all the best. Take care.
No problem. Bye
All right,
bye.
bye.